Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Helen, that's me here, and today I feel like doing some painting and drawing. I'm not quite sure what I want to do, so I'm going with the medium that I tend to turn to when I'm in this kind of a mood. That is the Derwent Inktense. Now I've got an old version of the blocks here, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with those. And then I have the new 100 tin of the Inktense pencils. I also have a pretty grubby and well-used version of the Inktense pans. And I have also a spray bottle, because I might need that. Some of the press button, what are they called? Editing me, can you write that on? Because I can't remember what they're called. Waterbrushes, that's the word. So you didn't need the editing me. I also have the Clairefontaine mixed media paint on, and this one's got a few choices in there. So I'll put on screen now, somewhere here, the picture that I want to emulate. And I think the thing to do would be to choose our paper. So there's 4 different surfaces with 6 colours in this particular multimedia pad. I have used it already, but I just want to have a quick look because the picture, as you saw, was kind of blue. This one's a nice buff grey, 2 of those. This one's very smooth. I don't think I used that with the Inktense. This is a real contender, this lovely Denim one. I've used that on a few occasions. It was good with coloured pencils too. This one here, ooh. Yeah, like a Bristol, that's nice. The green, quite nice, not really sure it's right for this particular project. This one has a real surface texture on it, like a fairly wide cold pressed, I suppose. It's 3 of those. There's a nice kind of warm brown, which is definitely not right for this project. And a black, which is not right either, although it could definitely work. But I think I like the idea of using the denim for this, because I'm not one for using a ton of water. So let's try and rip this out in one go. Oh my goodness. There we go, in one go. So that's going to be our paper. Okie dokie, so I have a aqua pad here, which I'm going to use just as a swatching thing off on the side. A couple of bits of rag and 3 water brushes. So I have a chunky one, a thin one, and a medium one, so that's probably all we need. I don't tend to use the big flat square one. We're going to need some of the tape as well, so I don't even think this even sticks, but that might be good because we don't want it to be overly stuck, do we? Just need it for the edges, really. I like a nice clean border. There we go. Okay, let's quickly just sketch out some of these things. I'm not worried too much about the shapes. Just something close enough is going to be adequate. Oh, I can barely see that with the glare. I'll come back in a second when I've done it. Okay, I think you can just about see that. I'll just take a bit of this depth off because I don't want that to show through too much. And I think now I just need to choose some colours. So I think we'll start with the, should we do it all in pencils or should we do some blocks? I like the blocks, so I might just pick some of the nice juicy blocks out. Let's do that. All right, what I'm doing here is taking ink off the block, quite a bit of it, and then putting it in just this little solution. It's just water in this little spray bottle. I'm hoping that it's going to give us an opportunity to do a spotty, dotty background. It may not work, and I'm going to have to wait for it to dry as well. But I think it could be cool if it works. I have seen this done before, so I'm fairly confident. And I need it to be a little bit translucent too, but maybe not as translucent as that. That might be a bit too light in terms of not enough colour. Ooh, that's going to get stuck. I think it's worth having a go though, right? If this actually works. Oh, yes, right. So I try not to get it all over my iPad, which is just there. But I want some, I don't actually mind too much if it goes over, but I'll maybe, what should I do? Put something over it. Oh my gosh. All right. I think that could be Lemon Marvellous, but I might have to just wait for that to dry. But it could be really cool. Okay, I'll come back when it's dry. All right, that's still a little bit damp, but I'm going to be drawing in here or painting in here. So, but yeah, check it out. Look at this. I think that worked way better than I thought it would. It's got a really nice little dappled effect. So I think that's going to work out brilliant for us. I'm going to use the blocks and roughly colour where I'm seeing the main colours. I like using the blocks a lot actually, because they're just a bit more freeing. As a colour pencil realism kind of person, I do struggle to get my artwork to be a bit freer. So things like working with the Inktense is just a really good way of doing that. So I haven't done it for a while, so I'm a little bit out of practice, but I think it should be okay. Bit of fun. That's what we need on a day like today. So I'm just going to slowly build the colours in and around. As usual, this is not a tutorial. I'm just kind of futzing around and seeing if I can make it work. And I think that really bright one there. Yes, that lovely orangey one. Just the underlayers. And we've got to blend these out quite well. Otherwise it won't all merge together nicely. I'll bring the pencils in a sec, but I just want one slightly different red, orange or either. Yes, that's better. Just over the nose, a little bit under there. Big blob of yellow in the middle. Okay. Let's water that out and see what it looks like. I'm supposed to be using a water brush, but I've got my big brush here. So let's see how I do. We're going to have to do it a couple of times. So just bring that yellow onto the blue a little, dab it off, clean bit. You can see the intensity of the colour just there. Let's go around the eye and then just start building those colours. They'll look better when they're dry as well. But yeah, fun already. Will look better once it's dry. If I blow on it, you'll see it come together. So let's do the same on this little dude whilst I wait for that bit to dry. And around his belly. No details, please, Helen, thank you. Right, one over the end of his lip and then some soft yellow through there and then some soft yellow under there, but mostly that's going to be orangey. And just to give that a little dimension, put some orange in there. And orange up through that kind of big belly that he has. A little bit darker orange. Yeah, you can see the colours starting to emerge on this one. But it'll all be a bit different once I put the forgot to talk for a sec. Once I put the pencils over, that will really come to life. But for now, let's see how we get on with these, because I haven't used them in ages. And they're one of my favourites because they're so fun. You can just really chill out and enjoy just having a little bit of fun. That'll be fine. So let's give that guy a little a little wet. Oh, I forgot to put any colour in that. Oh, what a plonker. It's supposed to be very orange in there. That'll do. It's going to need some reds too, but I think I'll add that with the pencils. So you can see I'm not using a ton of water because I'm not entirely sure about the robustness of this paper. But this is only the first layer, so we have to trust the process, as they say, and believe that it's going to look fine. I think layers 2 and 3 are going to transform it. I can be quite a, well, I was going to say lazy, but I don't think I'm lazy. Impatient, that's the word. Yeah, I'm quite impatient sometimes. So waiting for things to dry is not my forte. It's got an eye back there. All right, let's try this last guy. I think it kind of comes around here. So we've got this lovely little edge to him. Goes into orange. And then into the darker orange. That darker orange goes up over his back. Quite a distinct mark there. A definite kind of thing there. Triangle-y pattern. And then over the back, much more orange. More orange on his nose. That's the first one. That's the second one where the fin comes out. And it kind of comes up like that and does a little wiggle. That'll do. And we try and ignore his eye for now. Make it bigger than it needs to be. I think that's probably a good idea. Lots of that darker orange on the top of his nose. And then it fades into the brighter, lighter ones. And then we've definitely got bright light just around here. Now where does his fin is kind of there, so we'll try and ignore that. Put that lovely bright orange in, and then we've got yellow to go in across here, like a really, really vibrant spot of yellow. This is just the underlayers, so try not to worry too much about precision. My ongoing battle with perfectionism. One there, I guess. One there, and then let's just give that a little tickle of colour there. And we've got grey in there too, but I'm going to do that with the pencil, I think. Okay. Gently blend. Do that yellow bit. And that one. Give that a clean. Dab it off. Nice. It looks so strange when it's just really dark like that. I think that's going to be fine. So whilst I'm here, let's just get this white back out. And I'm going to map in really gently those fins. Maybe put the white over the top. So we want it less opaque towards the edges by the looks and more opaque here. And that's okay, I can do that. More opaque here. And then less opaque here. Trying not to pick up too much of the orange because I'm using the blocks. Let's just make that a rough edge, I think. That should be okay. Oh, try not to get too caught up. I get such a habit. This is just mapping it in, so I don't need to be overly worried too much. And I've missed out a whole bottom section. Let's just pull that orange in, I think. Lovely. Get in there. And then that little debris there. Okay, cool. Now you can start to see it. Definitely. So let's do this one. So I'm pulling off at the end there, so in the hope that that's the least saturated part of the white. I do have to come back, as you can see, but I quite like that tattered look. That works for me. Might just make them look really ornamental maybe. Next bit is that dude there. Little fin there. I don't think I put the rest of that in, never mind. Add some extra white up and under there too. And then finally this guy. Well, let's just put a line across his back and then work up. And we know that that's got to come up a bit. Oops, a daisy. Oh my gosh. See how this goes. That yellow might look even better on the second layer because it's now got the white underneath. That's my thought process. Just put some little dots for them for the white, oh, in English, Helen, little dots for the yellow to sit upon, because I think it would struggle a little bit. And then let's do these back fins. That one's just a nice gradual disappearing one underneath him. Comes down like that. And then this guy here, just like that, I think. Doesn't need much more. And then maybe I can just do some little bits here. The Derwent Inktense are a particular favourite of mine. And that is because my art is on the tin. The butterfly is my design. Derwent invited me to do that. And of course, who wouldn't want to do that, hey? Of course I said yes. And I did something that I don't usually do. And that was kind of very, very fantastical painting of the butterfly. And I'm very proud of it. And I like to tell people that I did it. All right, let's think about how I can improve a couple of bits. But that's the underpainting pretty much there. These are pretty much dry. So I think what I'll do is I might just put a little bit of blue into that white mix. And just off to the side here, I can see that that's still really quite pale. So it's thicken it up a little bit. And then I want to come in and then smudge it in. I don't know what this is going to do, if it's even going to work. So maybe just do it on one. No, it's fine. Yeah, we can already see that that's taken that down a notch. So I can add little, see, I'm already adding detail, but it doesn't matter. It looks awesome. So not really that bothered. Also, once these are done, I don't have to then worry about them unless I muck them up somehow. Obviously, it's quite possible. But yeah, I like that little bit of blue. What I might do is get some greeny browny colour as well. Whoa, way more water than that, please. Yeah, that'll do. And put that under here as an undercolour. We can go over that in a bit because some of this is very kind of golden, which is, in case you didn't know, is a very greeny, almost brown colour. Well, yeah, definitely a green colour, I would say. Don't think there's anywhere else to put that bit. No, I'll go back to the blue, which is where? Which is here. And then put another layer on. It's quite tricky because of the paper, but the paper was white. It might be a little bit easier to see where I've kind of gone too dark too soon, if you know what I mean. But it is all right, isn't it? There we go. We'll finish it with the pencils, as I said, so it's going to be fine. I want a peach colour. Is that peachy? Not bad. If I add some white to that, it'll probably turn out a bit more peachy. Yes, that's peachy enough. See how that dries. I'm a bit nervous. It might be too dark, or it's just not going to be anywhere near dark enough. Hard to know. Just some little bits and pieces just here. This is too much, too soon. I need a red, not a dark brown. So this is like a really deep plum colour. Much better. Let's just put some of these little globular bits on. Anywhere else that's really dark? Yeah, just through here. Try and remember that it's going to be a lot lighter, much darker on top. Maybe put some in through here. Depends on how light that goes. Actually, yeah, that's going quite light, so I feel relatively comfortable about doing that. So I've got myself a red, and I'm going to just quickly plot some of these darker sections through and then wet that out. Don't need too much. This will save working too hard or making the pencils work too hard, you know. Also, it keeps me as loose as I can be, but already it makes a bit of a difference, I think. Look at that one. But let's put some through his bonds and up through here too. So this guy gets a little bit as well. Yeah, it's more orangey up through there. I'm a bit loath to put too much red up, so we'll orangify him instead. Just increase that colour through him. A little bit of a triangle there. That should do. And let's just blend that out nice and softly. And then blend that orange through as well. Try and keep the shape of his face as well. I don't want to lose that really. Okay, let's go through this guy. Give him a nice bathe in this lovely red. Oops, oh my gosh. Slightly too big a brush, I think. It'll dry a lot thinner, a lot lighter. Up over his head. We can always add some of the lights on top. That's the beauty of Inktense, that we can always go back in with some lighter colours. And this guy, I think I just put a bit through there and then down onto his head. Just blend that out a little bit. Put some more of that red through. Right, I'm going to go and get my pencils out because I haven't got enough room on my desk. So I'll dig the pencils out, but I'll leave these blocks just in case I need them. Yes, that's what I'll do. Okay, I've got a grey here, so I'm going to try and colour in some of the shadow areas. And then see what it looks like blended. So I'm going to use the thinnest brush that I have. Just try and get some water coming through it. Let's see what this does. I'm expecting it to chill out a little bit, but we'll see what that looks like there. Excuse me. And we'll do grey. Yeah, I've got grey here too. So there's some grey in section 2, just down to the fin. So let's wet that through. You can see how instantly it changes things. Super pigmented. I may not have wanted to do that. Yeah, oopsie. Let's just give that a little tickle. And a little bit there. And we'll be able to see, oops, see what that looks like once it's dry. I forgot I put some red in there. Oopsie. Okay, so we're going to go in with the yellow. Give that a go over, and then some of this lovely mango, which is one of my favourite colours from this set. And see if I can make that pop a little bit. Just give it a blend. Go over to this one and add some mango to his mouth. Lighten that up around under the bottom. So these aren't great over the top, I'm noticing. Not on this paper anyway. It's got quite slick. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's just give that a little blend. I'm just kind of dibby-dabbing. I don't want it to be too uniform in its appearance. See, if it doesn't work, I might have to just go back to completely just painting it all in. Which, you know, I wouldn't be mad at. Spot of yellow there, and then, yeah, I think they're quite different feels. The makeup of the ink, or the ink substance in both, feels quite different. Let's blend that out. Get that mango really covering the surface there. I just wish it was a little bit more poppy with the pencils. Maybe I should wait for it to dry. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is just go back to the blocks for a little bit and work on this little section here, because that should be a bit more yellow and orange than it is. Although that dried quite nice. Way more orange and yellow. That white is pretty punchy, isn't it? So I think it will look much better with the painting. But whoops, gosh, that was thick. With like a painted version. Put some red through there. Okay, that's coming on, that's coming on. I still think my darks aren't quite dark enough yet though, is it? Or are they, I should say. My darks aren't quite dark enough just yet. I think working on this darker paper is proving to be more of a challenge than I thought it would. We'll see how we get on. I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. Let's really bring that orange through. Pull that orange through again. I'm just trying to create a blend. It's a bit like working with Poscas because they're so kind of opaque in that little section there. Carve out the shape of his little mouth. Keep building those layers. Oopsie. Getting there, getting there. See, that's really popping now. So I'll have to do a bit of work on that. Maybe I'll get some different pencils out, although it's really slippery now. So the Derwent Lightfast might go over it. These are certainly having a little bit of trouble. So let's go and make this really orange. Nice, get in there. Now for in here, is that dry? Yes, so I'm going to go in with the bright yellow. Really load this brush, it's a very thin point. And I just want to try and create those little highlights. I don't mind doing it once or twice. Bring back that little grey and just tidy up some of those little dark spots. Actually, what I do need is a darker red and start to push those shadows. Oh, actually, it seems to be working better when you've got a sharper point. Ah, nice. Give it a little wiggle. Try and attach that again. So if I bring the white in, bring some of these, give them a bit of highlighting, and this guy here. Make them a bit more fantastical here. A few little highlights running through there to represent the scales, that's the word. And let's bring that red back in. Maybe just highlight some of those. No detail, it's just little bits of colour. Cool, nice, right. I need now the black. So we have an inner eye, and then an inner eye here. And that's quite dark too. An inner eye here, but nowhere near as big. That's all right. Now, yeah, I'm going to wet these. That one, and that one. That's pretty much it for the black. So let's just wait a moment for that to dry. And whilst we're waiting for that, I'm going to make these more circular. We're almost finished. I just want to put some greenery down on the floor. So let's just try and emulate some of these flowery bits that are coming up through here. Just a gentle coat of this colour. Honestly, I could do this with the Inktense blocks, probably a little easier. Right, let's see what that does when I blend it out. I'll try not to panic just yet. And then when that's dry, I'll go over it again with some more of the white maybe. Little shapes in, I think, that'll be cool. Oops, well that's going there then. They're not really any recognisable particular plant, are they? I'm just trying to create a nice little border to hold them. And a bit of orange. And then blend it out. Love it. That's nice. You've got to be quite gentle when you press the little button on these Derwent water brushes, because they can kind of spit, just kind of dump a bunch of puddle of water out. That's happened to me on a couple of occasions. Let's go back in over here. I want to add a bit more of the white to the end. I'm going to just blur it and blend it through whilst it's sat there. Is that dry? No, not yet. Dry already. All right, let's think about what else to put on the background, shall we? I just don't know. I'll stick that down again. Maybe you'll hold then. This one's doing fine. Okay. The original has got some rocks in. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get the block out again. And I want something pale blue. Or pale aqua. Let's just have a go. So it's going, the direction of this is kind of like that, I think. Well, that's it now. I've made that decision. So I want some quite light marks. I say light marks, look at me. And then try and get my perspective more or less sorted. Okay, keep going. So the perspective is I'm one point perspective, and I'm kind of putting it over there. So I'm hopeful that I can do this. I just want to create some shapy bits. Okay, I think that's too light. That is too light. So I'm going to need to put some darker through there. So what colour is that? That's a nice dark. So shall we try? Yeah, let's try. Do I like it? Not as much as I thought I would. I think the thing to do is to just lean into it and go really dark. Oh God. The nice thing with these though is that it doesn't matter. Totally just thoroughly not worry, because you can cover over it quite easily. So I might do 3 or 4 layers of this, and at the end of those layers it might be fine. Blip, blip. Not bad for an afternoon, just a little bit of fun. There they are. Wow, that was great fun. I really enjoyed that. 3 little Inktense fishies, painted mostly. Just needs to be a couple of little really vibrant-y ones. There you go, bloop, there you go. He's definitely a happy little fish. Right, well, let's sign it. Happy with that? Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you had fun, and thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.